how to make money with music. Whether you're an aspiring rapper or a music producer, or maybe you're a singer-songwriter like myself, how can we make money with our music in today's digital world? This question is actually two-part, and the first part of the question is, what are the procedures and things we need to have locked down and in place for us to actually just collect the money from our music that's out there in the world? So that's music royalties. The second part really is, how do we build an audience and build a value hierarchy for our audience that we can eventually monetize and sustain ourselves so we can have a career as a musician? So that's two parts of the question on how to make money with music. Let's get into it.
I gotta put my hand up and admit it. Think I really might have blown it.
Historically speaking, the question how to make money with music wasn't actually a big concern a few decades ago because it was obvious you sold physical copies of your music and you made a lot of money. In the digital world, the question how to make money with music is quite popular because no one is selling physical copies of music anymore. So the question how to make money with music is quite popular because people are trying to find different streams of revenue. Part one in this video on how to make money with music is just making sure that we're collecting all of our music royalties nowadays, whether our music's out there in the world right now or that we're going to put music in the world eventually. We just want to make sure that we're going to be collecting all of those music royalties. There are many different types of royalties. The bulk of the royalties that you're going to want to get your head around and the ones that you're really going to want to collect are performance royalties, mechanical royalties, and sync royalties. These are the royalties that you get if people are streaming your music on Spotify, for example, or if your song is played on the radio, for example, or if your song's on TV, or if your song is in a Netflix show. And so if you have those bases covered, then you're going to be collecting the bulk of the royalties, and you just kind of can set it and forget about it, and then you can focus on making music and your career as a musician and just have those royalties collect on the side. The sad thing is the music royalties that you're going to collect from your music probably won't be significant, and so we have to find other ways that we can monetize our audience and make a career as a musician, because music streaming, the sync royalties, the performance royalties, all the royalties we get are very insignificant. Even for the big stars, relatively speaking, the money that they make is quite low on streaming. I'm quickly going to go over the royalties now and how to collect them, but I am going to reference another video in the description where I did go quite deep on every single royalty: performance royalties, sync royalties, and mechanical royalties. And you can find that video in the link in the description. The first royalties you want to collect are performance royalties. And you can easily collect these royalties by signing up for a performance rights organization. And there's many different types of performance rights organizations, and they have to do with whatever country you're from. You typically want to sign up for a PRO in the country you're from. For example, I'm from Canada, so I signed up to SOCAN. If you're from the United States, there are 3 different ones in the United States: BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC. And every country has their different performing rights organization. When you sign up for the performing rights organization, you'll be collecting all your performance royalties. So whether you do a live show and you get royalties from that, or your song is played on the radio, for example, or you're in the IKEA walking around buying some IKEA furniture and your song is played on the IKEA intercom, the performance rights organization will collect that royalty for you. As we're on the subject of performing rights organization on a country level, you're going to want to sign up for another service called Songtrust. And Songtrust will help you collect all the royalties and the performance royalties that you deserve if your song is played in different countries. So if you're in the IKEA in New Zealand and your song is played somewhere on the intercom there or on the radio there, you want to make sure you're collecting those royalties for you. And Songtrust has the relationships with all the performing rights organizations around the world, and they'll take a little bit of your royalties as a payment, but they're going to manage those relationships for you and make sure that you're collecting those royalties on a global scale. The second type of royalties are mechanical royalties, and you get these royalties through your music distributor. Whether you're through DistroKid, CD Baby, or TuneCore, or any other one, they are going to pay you your mechanical royalties. This essentially is the royalties you get when someone streams your song on Spotify or Apple Music or any of the streaming music services. The last type of royalty you do want to have checked off are the non-interactive active royalties. And so this is like if your song is played on satellite digital cable or satellite radio. So if your song is played on here, you want to sign up for a service called Sound Exchange. It's a free service, and they're going to make sure if your song is played on Sirius XM radio, for example, they're collecting the royalties for you, and then they're giving you the money in return. So those are the 3 things you're going to want to sign up for to collect all the music royalties that you deserve. Reference the other video that I made with the link in the description, just so you can go deeper and get a better idea of step-by-step how to sign up for these services. So in this second part of the video, I'm going to go over the fundamentals on how to make money with music in the digital world, and arguably the more exciting part to this video. So the 3 fundamentals I want to talk about in this second section of the video are quite simple. The first one is just get rid of the mindset that you need to become famous or you need to be a millionaire. You don't really need to be a millionaire to be a happy musician or sustain yourself as a career musician. All you need to really do is make a solid income, right? Well, what is that solid income for you? Is it $60,000 a year? Is it $200,000? Is it $100,000? And then do the simple arithmetic from there. For example, the 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly, he suggests that if you want to make $100,000 per year, well, then you just need to find 1,000 people that will pay you $100 per year. So do that simple arithmetic to whatever salary that you would like to achieve. The common pitfall for people who don't do this arithmetic is they're just going into this question, how to make money with music, and they don't even know how much money they want to make. Is it $1 million? Is it $500,000? Is it $1 billion? I mean, sure, whatever you want, but do the arithmetic so you know you can have some type of plan and actions and step to get to that goal. For simplicity's sake, let's say we want to make $100,000 a year. So we go after 1,000 people that want to pay us $100 a year. Or we can go after 100 people that are going to pay us $1,000 a year. You can reframe the arithmetic and look at it from different angles. And that has to do with the second and third fundamental, which are building an audience and then building a value hierarchy for that audience. So let's start with the second fundamental, which is building an audience. I'm not sure what stage you're at as a career musician, but if you want to make money with music, you're going to need to build an audience. So let's say for simplicity purposes, you're starting pretty much at level 0, where you have some people that follow you and you have people to listen to you on Spotify, but you don't really have an audience. So we need to start building an audience. The best thing we can do to start building an audience is to find a channel that we can talk to this audience, whether it's a social channel like Facebook or Instagram, or whether it's something more like YouTube where you build content and you communicate to your audience through video, or maybe it's email, for example. The best way to build a loyal audience that can sustain you is don't ask them for anything for a long time. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to constantly provide your audience with value over time, frequently and consistently, and then eventually you can ask for something in return. But that is the third fundamental that I'll get into now, which eventually you won't even ever have to ask, because the true fans that are going to happen to pop up in your audience will eventually start paying you because you've given them something that they really, really want. For example, I am building an audience right now as a singer-songwriter, and the main way I'm building my audience is actually through an email list. I also focus a lot of my time on YouTube and Instagram, but my main audience is going to live on email, and I'm providing value to my audience over email. That might be something different to you. Maybe your audience does live on Instagram. Maybe your audience does live on TikTok. At the beginning, you're going to want to experiment with different channels where you want to build your audience, but you don't want to do it on every single channel. You're going to spread yourself too thin then, and you won't be able to focus on anything. So at the beginning, focus on one channel and start building an audience. And that means give them value, give them content, write them songs, give them funny posts, give them value over time, and people will start following you and engaging with you more. So that gets on to the third fundamental, which is now once we start building an audience, we can build a value hierarchy, where then we can say to our audience, the people who want my newest songs can start paying me $1 a month or $10 a month, or pay me $10 a month now and you can get my upcoming release for free. The main idea is when you start building this big free audience, there's going to be some true fans in that audience that will want to start paying you for your work or for the value you are creating, because they've attached something to that value you are creating to something inside themselves that they're willing to pay for it. And so that's a really important stage where you need to start monetizing that, whether it's new songs that you haven't released yet. Maybe you can charge for that. Or maybe it's private live stream or private conversations with you on Skype, for example. There are many different ways you can monetize those people, but this is when you want to start monetizing when you have those true fans. It can be quite detrimental though if you start monetizing too quickly. Let's say you've only been building an audience for a few months and then you make a post saying, okay, everyone needs to pay $10 a month now to listen to my new songs. Well, obviously that's a bit drastic, but no one's gonna want to do that because you haven't really provided enough value or time for them to really buy into you yet. So it does take a while that you're gonna need to consistently add free value to them, that eventually those true fans will pop up and want to start paying for it. And if you're lucky enough to have people willing to pay you $100, $200 a month, that's when you just need to get creative in how to monetize these true fans. And that's actually a really good problem to have, where you need to start getting creative on how to monetize your true fans. So those are the 3 fundamentals on how to make money with music in today's digital world. Change your mindset and start with arithmetic. Build an audience and then set a value hierarchy for that audience. If you're an independent musician, drop some links to your music in the comments below. Let me know if I can help you in any other way. Please feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.